Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing the new Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation. If you like these types of videos, go ahead and hit the like button and consider subscribing because I do these types of videos here on my channel every Saturday. So today we'll be talking about the new Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation SPF 15. And I'm going to go over what some of the claims are. I'm going to insert some footage of me applying the foundation, and then I'm going to tell you about my experience with it and if I would purchase it again and if I would recommend that you purchase it. Okay, let's get started. This is the packaging for the foundation. It is 1 fluid ounce. It is a frosted glass bottle, which I like. I mean, for a high-end foundation and the money that they're charging, the packaging should be nice and not cheap, and this is not cheap. This is a nice frosted glass bottle, which allows you to see the color of the foundation in it, and then you pull off the top to reveal a pump, and we love pumps, and you get a nice amount of the product out in one pump. And this is what the box looks like. Black, shiny black with white writing, and it's 1 fluid ounce for $46, which is a little on the pricey side. On the side are the ingredients and directions for how to use it, and then on the back are some of the claims, which I'm going to read to you. Okay, this is a full long wear coverage that looks and feels like skin, not masky, heavy, or cakey. This high-performance oil-free formula creates a poreless, shine-free finish with incredibly comfortable day-to-night wear. It's silky emulsion of true-to-skin pigments, blah, blah, blah. Instantly mattifies oily skin for a natural look that is never dull, dry, or flat. It helps minimize oil throughout the day and reduces the appearance of pores over time, stays fresh all day and into the night with coverage that lasts even in hot and humid climates. And they say it is ideal for normal to oily skin. It comes in 30 shades, which is really nice, and it is 16-hour long wear. It's full coverage, it's matte, it has SPF 15, it is waterproof, sweat and humidity resistant, won't crease or streak, and stays color true. It has no parabens, no sulfates, no phthalates. It's gluten-free, vegan, and non-acnegenic, which means it should not cause you to break out. And it is available for purchase at Sephora, Macy's, Nordstrom, and BobbiBrown.com. I purchased mine from Sephora, and I got mine in the shade 6.5 Warm Almond. Now, this is my first time purchasing a Bobbi Brown foundation. I initially picked up this foundation as a sample from Sephora, and shout out to the young lady that helped me. I don't remember your name, but she gave me 3 days worth of a sample, so I wore this foundation for 3 days in a row, which gave me a good idea of whether I liked it, and clearly I liked it because I went back and I bought it in the full size. Now, this foundation has a strong fragrance to it. So if you are sensitive to fragrance, you might not like this foundation. Now, the smell does dissipate after a while, after you put it on and after I've blended it out. By the time I'm done with my whole makeup application, I don't smell it anymore, but it's definitely strong when you first pump it out of the glass jar and when you first apply it. So that's just something to be aware of. In terms of full coverage, and I'm going to insert footage of me applying this foundation. I only wear full coverage foundations. As you'll see from the demo, I have a lot of texture, acne, scarring, wrinkles, discoloration, you name it, I've got it. And so I only use full coverage foundations. In terms of the coverage on this, I would say it has to be built up to full coverage. I need to apply 2 layers of it and then go on top of it with concealer to finish covering up all of my issues. So you can build it up to full coverage, but even so, I still have to go on top with other things to hide a lot of my blemishes. It does layer well. It does not look cakey. It doesn't look like you're wearing a face full of foundation. It does still look like skin. It does have a natural finish. Very matte though. It's a matte finish, but it doesn't look cakey at all, which I like. It does feel lightweight. I don't feel like I'm wearing a lot of foundation or makeup. And I'm able to layer my powders on top of it and blend them out fairly well. It is pretty matte. When I touch it today, it feels, I'm wearing it today. Okay, and today it doesn't feel too tacky. It does feel a little tacky, but surprisingly, the transfer, it doesn't claim to be transfer resistant or transfer proof, but I have found that surprisingly, it transfers very little, if at all, which for me is a first, because I'm used to, I have oily skin and I'm used to getting foundation over everything, my papers at work, my desk, everywhere. I'm afraid to hug people because if our cheeks meet, they usually walk off with a patch of brown foundation on the side of their face. So I'm used to transfer, and I'm used to a lot of transfer. Surprisingly though, I found that this foundation has very little transfer, and it's funny, I figured that out, or I found that out because I was handling papers at work, and it was a paper that I wanted to give to someone else, and after touching it, I immediately thought, oh damn it, I'm gonna have foundation all over this paper and I don't want to give it to the person like this. And surprisingly, there was no foundation on it. Now if I touch my skin, I will get a little foundation on my finger, but very little transfer, which I really love. So this foundation says it's ideal for normal to oily skin, and I would agree with that. I would not suggest you try this if you have a dry skin. It is quite matte, and I feel like it does look flat when I first apply it. I know it says it doesn't look flat or dull, but I feel like when I first apply it and before I put on all my makeup on top of it, my highlighter and everything, I feel like it does look flat because it's so matte. And I was having some problems with my pump, and now today was the first day where it actually came out without a problem, and it seems more like a liquid because initially when I was trying to get it out, it reminded me more of a cream, and it applied more like a cream. But today, for the first time, I was able to get it out pretty smoothly, and it did seem to be more liquidy than what it has been. When I had the sample, I didn't remember it feeling more like cream either. I did remember it feeling more like a liquid. It does dry down fairly. You have time to blend out the foundation, but it does dry down. And I haven't noticed any oxidation. It stays true. It says it stays color true, and I have found that to be the case. It dries down the same color as when you first apply it when it's wet. It does last all day. I've worn this foundation now. I wore it all week. Today is Saturday. I wore it all week, and then previously when I had the sample, I wore it for 3 days straight. So I've worn it for about a week and a half. I've worn it to work, and my work day with commute time is generally 10 to 12 hours, and the foundation is still on when I come home. During the day, I always have to blot because I'm oily, regardless of what I'm wearing. But during the day, I normally on average blot about maybe twice during the day when I'm at work. And this was no different with this foundation. I blotted about twice a day, twice during the day at work. And it really, it does really control my oils. Like, I still got a little oily, especially around my nose, because I normally get oily the fastest around my nose. So around in this area here, I would get oily. But for the most part, the rest of my face was still fairly matte, and really, really nice. So I really, really love that about it. I do think this foundation could very well last you 16 hours. It lasted me 12 hours, and with a blot it still looked fresh. It still looked very nice. So I think it's quite possible this might be true, a true 16-hour wear. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm thinking it might be. In terms of the shade, it's not a perfect match, but I'm able to make it work. And I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I like the way it looks. It looks like skin. It looks fairly natural. And I'm happy with this foundation. So would I buy this foundation again? Yes, I would. For my first Bobbi Brown foundation, I've had a good experience with it. And yes, I would recommend it. Again, if you have normal to oily skin, I would recommend you give it a try as well. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and hit the like button and consider subscribing, because I do reviews and a lot of other beauty related videos here on my channel every Saturday. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.